What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. A few bits and pieces to get through today, and let's start off with Ollie Skipp. As Dan Kilpatrick says today, Ollie Skipp is set to sign a new contract with Tottenham this week. The Daily Mail says that Ollie Skipp is nearing a new long-term contract with Spurs that is worth around £35,000 a week. Sky Sports Lyle says that Ollie Skipp is close to agreeing a new long-term contract. Advanced talks, confidence on all sides that it will get done very soon, and also he is nearing return to action after 3 months out. The Standard follow on from that and say that Ollie Skipp is expected to rejoin the group by the end of this week. So all good news regarding Ollie Skipp. The main news there is that contract, though, long-term contract, 35 grand a week.
Yeah, and it's a good reward and good news for how he's played this season. I know he's had a few injury problems as of late, but usually he's quite a reliable player. He usually plays every game. He's usually pretty good at staying fit. So hopefully it's just a blip in the road. But I think he's a young player. He's got a good future ahead of him. And I'm delighted that he signed a new contract. It shows the belief we have in him. Conte's a big fan as well.
Yeah, Conte is a big fan. I think we're all big fans. He was very central to Nuno's plans when he was here. Obviously, when Conte first came in, he saw a lot of minutes too. But this injury has kind of seen a step back in terms of how easy it's going to be for him to get back into this team, though.
Yeah, but look, when you're at a club like Tottenham, you should expect that. You should expect that we have quality players to come in and fill in for you. And I think Højbjerg and Bentancur have definitely stepped in, but he'll back himself to win a place back in the team for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on. Let's talk about Dejan Kulusevski now. The Daily Mail say that Tottenham are expected to trigger Kulusevski's clause as early as possible to sign the winger for £25 million this summer. That's obviously adding on to the 10 million loan fee that we paid as well. So if we do trigger the clause, then we'll be paying £35 million for him, which for what he's shown at the moment is a great deal.
Yeah, bargain for a 21-year-old winger who's settled in so well in the Premier League. And yeah, I think there's no point waiting, because if it's either 30 million euros now or 35 million euros later, so you might as well just pay the money. And I think he's shown enough right now to say that he's earned a permanent deal with Tottenham. According to Romano, they're already looking at him as a future Tottenham player anyway. So it looks like he's done enough to convince the hierarchy. I hope he keeps up this form, and it's not just one of those players who starts off really well and fades, but he looks like he's here he looks like he's a serious player who wants to make an impact as much as possible.
Yeah, look, I completely agree, and I completely agree with activating the clause early. But we did have a similar situation with Giovanni Lo Celso a couple of years back. He came in, hit the ground running, looked for everyone that he was going to be a success at Tottenham. We really backed him. We really liked the look of him. We triggered that clause early, and then he had those injuries problems before that, but it seemed to go wrong.
So what were you supposed to do? Never trigger a clause again? You know what I mean?
Never again.
So look. You only can go on the information you have right now. And Lo Celso's a bit older as well, 24 or something when it happened. You know, Kulusevski's 21. And I don't think Lo Celso's shown as much as Kulusevski's shown right now in terms of output and goals and assists and stuff like that. And it went wrong for Lo Celso. It doesn't mean you should always treat every other player like exactly the same. So I think as things stand, you've got to trigger the clause.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's move on. Let's talk about Sam Johnstone now. Ali Gold says that Spurs are currently the favourites to sign Sam Johnstone. Paul O'Keefe saying Sam Johnstone negotiations are at an extremely advanced stage. Obviously, he's on a free in the summer due to the Bosman ruling. His contract is up this summer. Ryan Taylor from the Daily Express says Sam Johnstone is a legitimate option for Spurs this summer on a free transfer, with Galini expected to return to Atalanta. He needed to make 20 appearances for Tottenham to trigger the clause. He's only made 10. So Spurs are not going to take up the option for another year, apparently, on Galini.
Well, how much was it
in terms of the loan move? I'm not sure. It doesn't say here. I believe it was something around like 10-15 million, around that mark.
Yeah, I mean, for getting Johnstone on a free, we got Lloris for another couple of years. So I don't think it makes sense to sign Galini. I think Johnstone will be adequate backup. I think it makes sense, good for the quota as well, for homegrown. So I think it all points to one direction of look, he was in the England squad not so long ago, was he, Johnstone? So I
He went
think
to
it
the
makes
Euros,
sense.
didn't he?
Yeah, I think so, didn't he? Yeah,
Yeah.
third choice. So look, I got no problem with him being second choice for me. And I know Laurie's made a mistake, but I'm still pretty happy with him. I think he's had a good season. So I think that's all right going into next season.
Yeah, and I think Johnstone will be a good backup to have, and he'll probably get his minutes in the cups and stuff like that as well. We were speaking to Jake Livermore not long ago. He was saying that he's made for the Premier League, and he'll definitely good enough for the Premier League. I didn't realise how old he was. I thought he was a bit of a younger keeper, but he's 29 years of age.
Yeah.
So you would think at that age, you wouldn't want to go somewhere to play backup. You'd want to go somewhere and kind of test yourself to be playing week in, week out in the Premier League.
Depends how ambitious you are.
It's interesting, isn't it? But anyway, let's talk about Christian Eriksen now. The Daily Mail saying that Tottenham and Man United are both closely monitoring Christian Eriksen ahead of the summer transfer window. Obviously, he's on a free this summer with his contract. He was only signed a 6-month contract with Brentford. His performances with Brentford have been brilliant. His performances back in the Denmark team have been absolutely brilliant. And I, for one, would absolutely love the guy back at Tottenham.
Yeah, and especially who'll be available on a free if Brentford don't if he doesn't extend his deal with Brentford. I think that would be that game against Newcastle, I know we end up winning 5-1, but that first half just showed me how much we need a player like Eriksen in the squad just to be available to break these teams down and have that bit of quality into the final third. I think it would be invaluable. So Kane doesn't always have to pass to himself all the time, you know what I mean? I think we need that kind of quality in the squad, in midfield, and we don't have that. And he's just there, ready-made, knows the club, knows Conte. It all makes sense. So if he's willing to come back, I definitely would strongly consider it. I don't think it's a case of him coming back and he's going to be in the team every game. And because, in that 3-4-3, does he really have a place in it? I don't really know. Maybe in the number 10.
Gives us the opportunity to play a 3-5-2.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm thinking. He gives us more tactical flexibility. And as well, when we're trying to either break teams down or we're late in the game, he can come on and be that weapon, and he's a good long shooter as well, which we don't have from midfield right now. So 100%, it all makes sense that Eriksen's the type of profile of midfielder we don't have. So bring him in.
Yeah, it would be completely invaluable to us against these kind of low block teams that we struggle to break down.
And he looks like he's got a second wind right now, doesn't he? He looks like he's playing as good as he ever has right now.
Completely agree. Next up, we've got an article from Build, and they say that Tottenham are interested in Konrad Laimer and have been tracking him since 2020. The 24-year-old has just 1 year remaining on his contract with RB Leipzig. Played 20 games in the Bundesliga this season, scoring 4 goals, 3 assists, predominantly plays in midfield, the central midfield. Haven't seen much of him, to be fair, so I can't really comment too much if I want him or not. But apparently, those are the rumours at the moment.
Well, sounds like it'd be cheap. I think he's kind of like a midfielder that we very similar to what we have. Very like hard-working, reliable, not like too amazing, but also one that it can follow instructions and is like kind of like a Højbjerg. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if Conte wants him, why not? But it doesn't want. It's not one that's going to excite me.
All right, let's talk about Cameron Carter-Vickers now. Publication called Record are saying that Celtic are edging closer to landing Cameron Carter-Vickers permanently in the summer, despite solid interest from 3 Premier League clubs. Burnley have joined Wolves and Leicester in the hunt for the 24-year-old US international. He's been a big hit at Celtic, obviously just recently scoring the winner in the Old Firm derby against Rangers at Ibrox as well. Massive goal in a 2-1 win. But yeah, I think that we've said it consistently over the years that it's been time for him to move on a long time ago. And I think that he's found himself a right fit at Celtic, and it's probably a really good move for him.
Yeah, we're going to give him another 1 year extension.
Yeah, probably.
Again. Every year we're giving 1 year extension. We're never going to get any money for him. But look, fair play to him. To be fair to him, whenever he's gone out on loan, we had a great loan spell at Swansea, didn't he?
Sheffield United, I think.
Sheffield United, Luton, I think he did well. And at Celtic, he seems to be, they seem to be a big fan of him. So, look, fair play to him. I don't think he's of the required quality to be a first teamer at Tottenham, but doesn't mean he can't make himself a good career at centre back. So He wants, obviously, with US going to the World Cup, he's going to want to be in that squad, so he's going to want to play week in, week out. I think it's best for everyone if he moves on and he can move on with his career.
Yeah. How much do you think we can get for him? 5
And the
million
way
or
he's
something
playing
like
at the moment, yeah, probably about 5 million.
Last but not least, YAYA TOURE. The Daily Mail saying that YAYA TOURE is currently working with Tottenham. He was in a academy role, getting his badges, and he is now set to take on a full-time role at the club. How valuable is the experience of having someone of that stature in the coaching ranks at Tottenham?
I mean, it is, but look, just because you're a good player doesn't make you a good coach. I'm not saying, I mean, I don't know, but that seems to be fact. All the time, and people, just because you're a good player doesn't make you a good manager or coach. But it seems that we're impressed with him if we're keeping him on, doesn't it? And the fact that he's been around the club for a while now and we're giving a full-time role, he must be doing something right. And maybe he's looking to be a future manager. And you never know. Maybe if he's been that impressive, maybe we'll be promoting from within next time if whenever Conte leaves. But I'm glad we have someone of that stature who's achieved so much in the game around the club, and I'm sure it can only help.
Yeah, exactly. That is your Tottenham update today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.